Hello, welcome again to another class. Thank you so much for staying tuned. It's good to know that you're there. Thank you so much. Now, we've already started with minerals. We've concluded the major minerals. And today we'll be looking at, we're starting with the trace minerals or trace elements. Now, just going back a bit, we started with dietary calcium, which is most abundant mineral in the body, and then we looked at potassium, phosphorus, looked at sodium and sulfur. Now, if you missed this video, so we looked at this and we considered it, please check the previous videos, and in the process you gain value, please share, make your comments, tag someone, share the video, subscribe and follow. If you have a question, please let us know. Thank you so much. So today we'll start with perhaps the most important of the trace minerals. Now, when we call them trace minerals, it doesn't mean that because they are needed in very small quantity, they are not important. No, they are important. It's just that you don't need large quantity of them for them to have a very significant impact in the body. So both for animals and for humans. Now remember, we're looking at animal nutrition, in which case we're considering animals. Of course, humans are also animals, right? Good. So we'll look at what we are to expect. Beginning when we start to look at what we expect, we'll look at the historical perspective to the mineral in question, in this case iron, and then we'll look at the sources of dietary iron, and then we'll consider the absorption of it, the metabolism of it, then the functions of dietary iron and the deficiency symptom, and then we draw the curtain on this particular minerals. So we'll be looking at it in one video we consider two parts or one of it. Today we'll be starting with the historical perspective of dietary iron. Now, let's go back memory lane. Now, history has it that iron have been fed animals and humans when they show signs of anemia. Now, what is anemia? Anemia is I've already told you in science, break the word in 2 or 3 on the syllable. An means without. Anemia, you already know it, blood. Without or lack of blood. So when you say sickle cell anemia or anything anemia, whatever, magnesium, hypomagnesemia or hypodysemia or hypo whatever anemia it is, anemia means blood and an means without. So when the ancient Egyptians or Greeks or Romans discovered shortage of blood in certain individuals or animals, of course in humans you notice when you press the finger you don't see much blood, you check the eyes, you don't see much blood, red, it's pale, you know that there's start to see some certain blueness, you know that there's shortage of blood. So what do they do when they discover this? For the 18th to 19th century, 17th to 18th century, even physicians started recommending iron filings and rust on iron. Remove the rust from iron and then crush into wine. And also iron filings. Iron filings are whatever little particles from scrubbing or rubbing something hard on iron into wine. And when it's drank, when it's taken in, you discover that the people begin to recover on it. There's something in those iron filings and rust that makes the blood begin to build up again. That's because of what? The presence of iron. Now let's come back here. In chemistry, iron is represented with Fe, meaning ferron. Now, ferron, atomic weight of iron in the periodic table, those who are familiar with chemistry, is atomic weight 56. Now, coming back again to the history, now by the 19th century, hemoglobin, which is the oxygen carrying component of the blood was now discovered. So discovered that hemoglobin carried oxygen all through the body, in which case it becomes discovered that it was hemoglobin that was carrying it. And a major component of hemoglobin is iron. You see the structure of hemoglobin, you see Fe iron there. Now, having known this, a brief historical fact, we'll look at the sources. Now, where do we get sources? Now, this is very important. People want to know what food items to eat to get blood. Now, blood is life. In the religious books and other very important materials, you see the emphasis on blood. Blood is so important. Blood carries oxygen, carries hormones, carry nutrients, carries enzymes, and many things dissolved in blood. Excretory products like salt, excess salt, carries urine, blood. Now, that makes iron very, very important because it helps to build good blood. Now, the two sources of iron, dietary source, can be divided into the heme iron sources and the non-heme iron. Simply meaning those from animal-based food, from animal tissues, and those ones are usually bioavailable. What do you mean when you say something is bioavailable? That means the efficiency of their digestion is high. They are also, sometimes you see them a lot in our food, very easily accessible, very easily cooked. But then also they are easily digestible, very easily digested. Now, what are the sources? Number one, you have red meats, beef, chivon. You have your pig meat, which is called pork. Chivon is the name of the meat of goats. You have beef, the name of the meat of cattle. Now, also you have poultry, whether you're eating chicken or turkey or geese or quail and the others. They are good source of this because iron is lodged in the muscles. That is, what you know as muscle when the animal or human is alive, by the time it's dead, it's called meat. So when the meat is the tissue of dying or dead animals. And then you have your fish and shellfishes. For example, sardines, oyster, you find heme, kind of iron in them. Now the other type is the non-heme type, which is the plant source of it. The plant source, you have the plant-based, you have they are usually less bioavailable. But bioavailable means they are less digested easily. For example, you have in dark living vegetables. Now, are they still very important? Absolutely. They are still very important, easily consumed. For those who eat Theophora occidentale, in our local palace, it's called ugu leaf or pumpkin. You have them also in kale. You have them in spinach, very dark green leafy vegetables. Also legumes like cowpea or beans, soybeans, groundnuts, and the others. They are good sources of iron. Another good source of iron is whole grains like oats and rice and other cereals like maize. Then you also look at nuts and seed, cashew nuts and other nuts that you find. Then we also find in palm kernel nuts. And then the synthetic iron that is fortified or incorporated in canned food or factory produced food. Now you get them manufactured synthetic iron and then incorporated in this. So you get to see them from the dietary or nutritional facts of those food. Now these things as we talk about, these sources are also useful in feeding animals, cattle, sheep, goats, poultry. You can get those iron sources from legumes. You use soybeans to make feed for animals. You use maize, which is a whole grain, to make feed for animals. Wheat and the other. So these are the sources of iron. Now in the next class, I would like you to join the next video. We'll be considering the absorption of iron, and then perhaps we may consider also the same video, metabolism of it. If you gain value, I personally want to thank you and also encourage you to please share the video. you like it, and subscribe so you get more important information that's good for your health and that of your animals. Let's see in the next video, the next class. Bye for now. Thanks.